vedadikaryanvitam svalpa svamala chandra koti kiraner nityam shariram guru. Siddharthi nijadosha vitstalagatir vyajiyate vidyaya kundaya kulamarga mukta nagari maya kamarga shriya. Yadyevam bhajati prabhata samaye madhyana kale tava nityam yakula kundali japapadam bhojam sasiro bhavet. Vavakasha chaturdale tivimale Panchapalanmulake Nityam samprati nityate agatita Sanketita bhavita. Vidya kundalamani svajanani Maya kriya bhavyate Yeshte sida kulodbhave pranatibi satstotra keshambubi. Tata sankara mohini tribhuvana chaya pato kamini samsaradi mahasukha praharani Tata stita yogini. Sarva granti vibedini svabujaga sukshmati sukshma para brahmayana vinodini kulakuti vyagatini bhavyate. Vande Shri Kula Kundalim Trivalipi Sange Svayambhu Priyam Pravishtam Paramagrachita Chapalam Palamalaniskalam. Ya Devi Paripati Veda Vadana Sambhavani tapini Ishtanam shirasi svayambhuvanitam Sambhavayami kriyam. Vani kauti mrutanga nanda mandana Nishreni kauti dvani Prane sira sarasi mula kamalo Lase kapurnanana. Ashado bhava megaraji janita dvantananastaini Mata sa paripatu sukshma patagaha Mam yoginam shankari. Tvamashritya nara vrajanti sahasa Vikunda kelasayor Anande kavilasinim sasisata Nandananam karanam. Mata Shri Kula Kundali Priyakale Kali Kalodipane Tatstanam Paramami Padravanite Vamudaratvam Pashum. Kundali Shakti Margastha Stota Strata Mahafalam Yapate pratarutaya sayogi bhaviti dhruvam. Shana deva hi patena kavinato bhavediha. Pavitra kundali yogi brahmalino bhaven mahan. Iti te gati tannata kundali kamalam stavam. Etat stotra prasadena devesu guru gishpati. Sarvadeva siddhayuta asya stotra prasadata. Dviparardam chiranjeevi Brahma sarva sureshvaraha. Brahma sarva sureshvaraha. Brahma sarva sureshvaraha.
I'm going to have a poem. Following a beautiful chant, I have been asked to read something written a few days ago. A friend was telling me of a dream of self-empowerment, and it inspires something that feels like an old song, perhaps sung long ago to a child. It's called What Lulls You to Sleep. What lulls you to sleep, my naked child? What blanket keeps you warm and safe? It is not your parents who keep you now, though they may love you most of all, for too soon they grow old and die. It is not your dreams, though they are rich and beautiful, for they are not yet here. It is your circumstance, O small and joyful one, that picks you up and carries you upon its broad shoulders. Look at the view, how far you can see. Your every circumstance is holding you as fast to itself as a lioness holds her suckling cub. And such circumstance, most noble one, rises every moment to meet you. Inseparable, the pair of you. So, sleep, sleep, for you are forever held in the arms of such unending love that you cannot help but be protected, just as you cannot help but be who you are already fast becoming. And your steps arise more naturally now as leaps of fine perfection, as your companion of circumstance gives and is giving you a sweet, continuing life to bring anew into your unwavering heart, a heart that is grown as steady as a lion's own. Such life is here for you, my happy, naked child, so you may come to fear no more what may or may not be moving in darkness's yet unlit lair. Whatever happens, let it happen, and know you are protected, watched over always. Like a great tree in a night wind, holds safe among its ancient swaying boughs a sleeping bird. Let the wind sigh this night its sleeping song to you. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe.
Welcome everyone this morning's seminar. We'll focus in for a few minutes. Maybe we'll suspend our mind just a tiny bit and free awareness to become aware of its own self. And then having established ourselves in this awareness, this field, we'll extend it through our body, huh? Expand this awareness. True awareness does awaken its own self. Embodying this field of space, energy, light. And having it embodied, it's more or less will extend to each other, which is our situation. Extending to the situation, huh? The field of awareness. And that way the inner yin meets the outer yin, as it says. The Yashalama, the inner field meets the outer field. We can do that. As we make that practice, we can think of Yangtang Rinpoche, who died recently, great Dzogchen master. And the period around a great yogi's death is always a very opening period for everyone. Huh? And like when any person dies, the primordial awareness field opens. Huh? And when a yogi dies, it opens in a very universal way. Huh? And in that opening, it arises in us. With that understanding, we can extend to our ancestors' generational field. Huh? The light supporting the light. We'll do that. Then we'll extend to the different yogis and teachers we've had in our entire life. Huh? And those people who embody the field so completely and where residence and recognition, again, awakens this awareness in us. Let me extend to Yangtang Rinpoche right now. And then we'll extend to that all the different traditions that we participate in, and traditions of themselves, fields of knowledge and information and light. We don't equate the tradition with institutionalization, though, huh? That's another dynamic. And they mix in our bodies and become universal people. Then we make one more extension to this dimension of awareness, our own awareness, the archetypal, the energies, the vortexes, the deities, devas, dakinis, huh? Those personifications of these powers of the elements. And again, today we'll extend to the dakini, gnosis, direct perception, the feminine. And if you guys lean into me a little bit, I will give a better talk. And we'll do that. And last week we were focusing on the Gnostics, huh? The Gnostic traditions. And we'll come back to those again, because most of all these Gnostic traditions, whatever frame they're in, whether it's in Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever the ism, it is a focus on immediate experience. It is a focus on direct perception, huh? Gnosis. And in that light, I'm going to read this little paper called Mind as the Knower of Forms and Awareness as the Knower of Being. A phenomenological view. We take different views here, huh? And when you take different views and you keep coming up with the same experience, there's a lot of freedom in that, and also skill is given. We have two ways of knowing. Our mind knows forms, both subtle and gross. Faces, hands, buildings, trees, math formulas. The mind knows subject, and the mind knows otherness. Our mind knows dualities. The mind knows me, and the mind knows you, us and them, this and that. The mind knows time. Our mind knows the past, the present. The mind has a sense of the future. Our mind knows things and entities. Our mind knows beings, infinite numbers of beings and things. The mind knows difference. Our mind thinks conceptually, feels affectively, imagines through images. The mind has sense, sensation, and the mind has memory. The mind knows dualistically. Awareness. Awareness knows being, capital B-E-I-N-G. Awareness knows being directly. And awareness knows the beingness of beings directly. Being is not a being, and being manifests beings. Being manifests beings within beings, and as their being. Being manifests beings within beings as their very being. Being itself is not an entity. It's not a being. Being is non-duality. Being knows the non-duality of everything and anything, everyone, anyone. Being is oneness and pervasiveness. Being is openness. Being self-manifests as radiant light, and being is compassionate, creative resonance. Being manifests duality, although being is completely non-dual. By becoming aware of awareness, we experience primordial awareness, which is the ground of beings, which is being. Awareness is being. Awareness is being knowing itself. Being knows being and the beingness of all the beings. Awareness can be timeless as well as manifesting beings in time as time. The mind knows time, and awareness knows timelessness in time and beyond time. Being knows timelessness in time, and being is timelessness manifesting time. Again, being knows timelessness in time, and being is timelessness manifesting time. Being becomes everything and anything. Being self-manifests as everything and as anything, as everyone and anyone. Being is no thingness. Being whose characteristic is openness, self-manifesting as radiance, light, creating everything and anything. Being is no thingness, and manifest everything and anything and everyone and anyone. Being is light. Being is space and light. Being is openness and light. And the light becomes energy, and the energy becomes matter, stuff. The nature of matter is being. Being manifests itself in us, as our own awareness. Awareness is not a thing. Awareness is no thingness. You and I are subjective knowingness, which is awareness itself. Awareness is no thingness within the thingness of mind and body. Our awareness as knowingness is openness and radiance. Radiance illuminates and is the intimate resonance within everyone and everything. This intimate resonance is the great compassion. Compassion is not simply the wishing goodness for everyone. Compassion is the direct resonance with the goodness of being in everyone and everything. Being is goodness. To experience the beingness of beings, including one's own being, is to experience the bliss of being. I'll say it again. To experience the beingness of beings, including one's own being, is to experience the bliss of being, the bliss of existence. Being appears and disappears as beings, but being is neither born or dies. Being is. Being manifests many, many, many dimensions. Being manifests life as Nirmanakaya, ordinary life. And being manifests the appearance and disappearance of beings. Being manifests Sambhogakaya, the forms of light and the light of forms. Being always remains, since being is timelessness. Timelessness manifests in time as time, and being manifests in time as beings. As their forms disappear, the beingness of beings remain. As their forms disappear, the beingness of beings remain. Being is unborn and undying. It is amazing and really useful to know that being itself is the source and manifests the eminent flow of all lived experience. Your experience, your ongoing continuous lived experience. I'm going to read that again. It is amazing, it's really amazing and really useful to know that being itself is the source and manifests the eminent flow of all lived experience. Your experience, your ongoing continuous lived experience. Being is the indivisible source of your ongoing lived experience, even at this very moment. Within all experience, being is manifesting, radiating, and glowing. So, every experience is the openness of being, and every experience is the manifestation of being. And so, through the duality of appearance of phenomena, through the duality of the appearance of phenomena, we can experience the non-duality of being. Being is not a distinct phenomena from the stream of experience. Being shines through all experience, and the radiance of experience is the radiance of being. Non-dual awareness is experienced within duality as openness. Non-dual awareness is experienced within duality as openness, as appearance, and as interrelatedness. Being is experienced through beings. Our own being is the doorway of being itself. Your own being is the doorway both for yourself and other beings. The indivisibility of being manifests both as the manifested phenomena and the knower of the phenomena. The indivisibility of being manifests both as the manifested phenomena and as the knower of phenomena. This being is manifest in you, as awareness, as pure awareness. Being is manifested as phenomena, as your embodiment, as flesh. All experience is the self-manifestation of primordial awareness, and being is the ground of all beings. Being is primordial awareness, the self-manifestation of eminence. That's I-M-M-A-N-E-N-C-E. All experience is the self-manifestation of primordial non-duality as duality. Being manifesting being within beings. Being is magical because it's beyond causality. Non-dual awareness and dualistic mind are intertwined. Non-dual awareness and dualistic mind are intertwined. And so we can experientially bring our mind into this awareness continuum simultaneously. Psychology cannot be extracted from being. Subjectivity is primordial awareness manifesting within a being as being itself. Subjectivity, I-ness, thou-ness, is primordial awareness manifesting within a being as being itself. Primordial awareness is being itself manifesting as subjectivity within the being of beings. Subjectivity is the openness of being itself in everything and anything, in everyone and anyone. Being is openness. Being is potentiality, pure potentiality. Human beings are the intertwining of being within a being. Human beings are the intertwining of being within a being, the intertwining of awareness and mind. When mind and awareness are in oneness, then the knower can know the beingness of being through a being. The person can know duality within non-duality, and non-duality within duality. A human being is the intertwining of thingness and no-thingness. the intertwining of openness and thingness. Raise your hand if you felt you understood that, if it meant something to you. Great. Raise your hand if you could think it, but more importantly, you felt it. Okay. So in a certain way, that was a perceptual experience and not simply reflective experience. And we'll stay with that. We're going to pause for a second, and if you like to just make a statement about your experience or your understanding, that'd be great. Or if you have a question, but please do it succinctly. It's almost as succinct as possible. It's like speaking essentially. It's always a challenge to speak essentially. The poem Erin read was an essential speaking poem. It was so direct, huh? So direct. I'm not going to pass the mic around. The machine can pick it up from there. So Jess, if you don't mind, if you want to share something, or a question or a statement. Do you like living in being? Do you like living in being? What's it like living in being? Kanu, what's it like living in being?
I was so taken by the poetry and there was a softness in her voice and a way that it was like inside of me that it penetrated so that I was experiencing the words as you were. They weren't words. They were images and
Yes.
sense.
Well expressed. That is direct experience. And in a certain way, it's pre-reflective. It's like non-reflective experiencing. Thank you. Kate, what's it like for you living in being itself as being? As that's opening more and more and more. This is a fruitional period here, okay? What's it like for you?
A lot of space. Of freedom, of movement, and awareness of my form, my human form, and also the spaciousness. So completely embodying it. And as you were speaking, I had this sense when the lamas come and visit us, this relational quality, and feeling how they, Lama Norla, I know, has spoken of, and the lamas often say what a blessing it is to be in this human form, to have this capacity, to have this awareness, to have this consciousness moving, growing, developing, and
Ask you a question. Can you experience the beingness of a being and their character simultaneously? Can you experience the beingness of a being and their character simultaneously?
yes, yes.
What's it like to be able to experience the beingness of a being and their character simultaneously?
It's quite amazing because you feel it's the energetic, and yet the character, the form arising as well. Mm-hmm.
Do you like that experiencing of non-duality and discrimination simultaneously?
I love it. I really love it. And am so appreciating that there's no foreclosure. There's no having to sort of choose, that really there is this, if I'm open and I'm fully in awareness that there's no foreclosure. I just had that Husserl quote just came up. What is the wonder of all wonders? And the doorway is our own subjectivity. I just love that. It's so beautiful. Just came right up.
What's it like being more and more, yes, in the beingness of being? Yes,
My hand raised itself.
beings manifest.
I know. I don't know what.
Being manifests everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, and everything arises and disappears, and being is not changed one bit. To me, there's just this sense of safety, completeness, wholeness, continuousness, eternity, infinity, and with little, those little things you see in your eyes sometimes when you bend over too quickly and get up too quickly. Like everything that arises is like those little flutters of things happening, and it goes through this space, and you notice it while it's there, but it's like a dream. It's insubstantial. It just all floating in this wonderful sameness. This sense of oneness, which is filled with grandeur too in some way. Just absolute wholeness, completeness, finishedness.
What's it like to experience pain, agony, and being?
Speaking to me,
No, just in general.
No.
Right now. What's it like to experience pain and agony? Okay, you can answer this one. And being itself.
Well, I was going to start with saying that being feels like a preparation, not that there has to be a certain order, but it's economical. It feels like it's a paring down, a distillation, getting to the core, and from that place expanding out. And if I can drop into that place of clarity, then I can hold the agony, I can hold grief, and it can actually
Is agony the manifestation of being itself?
yes. I think that
What's it like to know that agony itself is the manifestation of being? All experience, the manifestation of being. Everything, anything.
I think the knowingness of that makes it easier to live in this body, in this world.
How does it make it easier for you to live?
Is that it's not personal and it's not separate. It's all part of the same sense of being. It's all inclusive.
Pause for a minute. What's it like for you to feel that directly right now, at this moment?
I just feel my heart opening and as much as cliche as it sounds, I feel like we are all in it together. And it's comforting. It's very comforting. And it allows the field to expand more and to it's a kind of growth that is positive.
You feel protected.
Yes, very much so.
What's that like to feel that protection? That inner protection, not external. What's it like to have that?
It's like having the deepest kind of mother.
Well said. Thank you so much.
Question,
Yes.
what's the difference between agony
For some, they're the same. Exactly the same. And for some, it's different. Whether it's the same or different, it's the manifestation of primordial awareness itself. as my experience, as your experience. Tell me, do you think you can merit experiencing the beingness of your own being? Do you think it's won by merit? Kind of. These are all opinions, right? All opinions are welcome. They all count the same too. Do you think you can win being?
A part of me, like, a part of me believes it, and a part of me just goes, how stupid. You could never on the wheel of, and Kari could never do that. But on the other hand, there's like a little part of me that goes, I'll try.
Okay, suppose for a minute you just dismiss that latter part. Just dismiss it for a moment. It's not a function of merit. It's your very nature. It's the givenness.
I can support that very well.
Are you in awareness right now?
Yes.
Okay. Are you earning it at this moment?
No, it's a blind gift.
It's a blind gift all the way through. Great.
No matter what we do.
That's true.
And yet then we all keep going on and meditating and doing whatever.
Because awareness knows being. Mind doesn't know it. Awareness knows it directly. And when our mind and awareness are simultaneous together, then we can know that in everything and anything. That's why having a mind and having duality is really great. That's why me and you, us and them, is all doorways to being in its vast range. Has a lot of range. Do you like range, Carol? Do you like range?
Range?
Range. The range.
Well, I was just thinking of my two different experiences of being here in the basement and moving into that space and feeling again the deep spherical nature of it, but and the light, the deep golden light, and it's populated with people. That everyone is here, and it's interconnected, and I also have been recently back out in the woods meditating, and then it's that same sense of openness and connection and sphericalness, but it's populated with trees and moss and leaves, and it's a different sense, but it is that always interconnected, never alone, never, but it's not even a sense of, there's no sense of separateness in it.
Who feels the energy right now? Who feels energy? Pass it to Jane. So being is multidimensional, has many dimensions to it in its manifestation. What's it like to be experiencing the energy, the manifestation of energy? What's it like to be feeling energy? Energy.
It's a feeling of being home, and it's present always, and I think it's especially palpable sometimes. As soon as I walked in here this morning in this house, I had like a rush of exquisite energy.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Stay in here. distill energy into light, can you move from an energetic movement into the light? Can you, just like there's a form next to me, if I'm touching her, and then I can feel the energy.
There's the light. There's the light.
So can you go from energy to stay away and feel connection to us here?
Yes.
Connection. What's it like to go from the energy to light? And then stay connected to me if you don't mind.
Yes.
And
When
at this moment.
yeah, at this moment and in general, if energy always goes into light and it becomes more refined and yet more brilliant. But it's more of a subtle sense in the felt sense.
For you right now as we're talking.
Yes.
Maybe to make this translation,
Yes.
describe what you're doing right now, please. And we stay in touch with her, then that capacity is there, but it becomes a skill, right? That's why we like being in the field, and we blah, 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 blah. But actually, it is being in the field where that configuration, which is being put to words, that configuration is also being felt simultaneously. So, what's happening now?
I feel like one way to put it into language is when I'm feeling energy, it's an inside experience as well as an outside experience. Yes.
So right now, what's happening? I'm trying to get you right
Okay.
here now. We're not commenting, right? We're doing it in the present. Because we can, okay? Maybe. What are you experiencing now at this moment?
All right. What I'm experiencing now is radiance, a little bit of a trembling, almost like an intensity and a exquisiteness of the way that the energy and the light are blended together, and oneness.
Is it in your body or outside your body or in both?
It's both. It's as inside as it is outside. It feels seamless and
Feel that with me at that moment, as one of the human beings here.
yes.
Okay. What's it like to feel that with me at this moment?
When I single you out,
Yep, you're signaling me.
it's out of the oneness kind of
Focusing
entering
on-
into you,
Right.
then the light becomes even brighter.
So it's amazing at times when we focus on singularity, the light becomes brighter. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And not necessarily a function of raw or something like that, you know, or perfume. It's that focusing, the light becomes bright. Now, can you feel the light right now?
Yes.
How does the light feel? Pause and see if you can put that to words. This is how we all learn. How does the light feel at this moment?
It feels liquid, and there is a quality of a stream.
Okay. Can you simultaneously now, without leaving the place you're at, can you open your eyes? That's always useful. Anytime we do so, we open our eyes, we tend to shift out of the place we're at. So you really were trying to remain, as it says in the text, remain in now. Are you seeing me now?
Yes.
Now, what's it like as you're seeing me?
I see you, and there is so much light.
Okay, so you see the light and you see me. Okay, now
Yes.
here's what that's like. Are you feeling me through your whole body?
Yes, and I'm having that lion's roar in my ears.
Okay, can you describe what you mean by the lion's roar in your ears?
It feels a little stretchy isn't the right word for it, but to me it's a signal of intensity.
Signal of intensity. That's what that lion's roar is. And sometimes people see, you know, the archetypical lion. Now hang out with it and lean into me just a little bit more with that whole felt sense. What's it like to do that at this moment?
It deepens the experience.
It deepens the experience. Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
And I feel it going all the way down through my lower body into the earth.
Into the earth. Okay, now hanging out, we're following you, we're connecting to you, and right now, we always, the guru is everyone in this room. The light of the field comes through us and illuminates all of us, and we can speak through that at times, okay?
Yes.
What's it like to see the light through me or around you or in me?
It's a very blissful kind of feeling to see that.
Now, what's it like to see the light and also see my character simultaneously? Very important.
I like that so much. It's incredibly helpful.
It is incredibly useful in this world
Yes.
to see the light and character simultaneously. You with me?
Yes.
Do you know you have this skill now, Jan?
I do.
Did you always have this skill?
No, I did not.
Why is it such a great skill that's really necessary? Really necessary.
Oh, it helps to cut through and be discerning.
Sometimes people are in awareness itself and they see lots of light, but they don't have their mind integrated. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
That is not a useful situation for any of us. So many people in the emergence, they see lots of light. You with me? And that is an incomplete phenomenon. Isn't it nice to know that?
Yes.
What's it like to see this person's character? Just see her character and the light simultaneously.
Yeah, I do feel like I do that now.
Yes, yes.
And I really notice it when I'm working.
And when you're working.
Yes. Like knowing so much right off the bat.
Does the perception of the light actually paradoxically help you know character once you've integrated your mind?
Tremendously.
Tremendously.
Yes.
You can start, so by being in the awareness state and being your mind, you know character more, so to speak. Because
Yes.
the light is infusing our mind, right?
Yes.
And so is the direct connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Tom.
Is she earning it?
It is a gift. It is present. It is already here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm totally serious with this.
Yeah.
Suffering can give us the gift. You with me? Suffering is, and I don't like suffering at all. I'm sissy. But suffering can give us a gift.
Everything
We don't
can.
earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's a gift. Everything gives us a gift.
It's a gift being given if we can work it.
So then, but are we earning it when we work it?
No. You're not earning it. Put it this way. Action is necessary, but it's all intrinsic to the action.
Yeah, it comes out of it.
It comes out of, this is not being a cow, okay? Waiting for Godot, hoping. Mercy!
We always get to
Rather,
that.
action opens the experience. Knowledge is action, the Shaivite say.
Yeah.
It's really useful to know that. Her action has brought this forth, but it's not like she's gaining with little M&Ms.
Rewards.
Reinforcement.
That's why in this tradition, in these traditions, Dzogchen, Shaivism, forms of Taoism, certain forms of Gnosticism, knowledge is action. So skillful means and results are simultaneous. It's not that I do it and then I get it. You really want to know that. You really want to know that. Huh? You do. There is action. Action.
Yes.
What
is
happened?
manifesting? Who is manifesting the action?
You are. We are.
Hold on.
Being.
Being.
But coming through us.
Yes, being is
We're
manifesting
being.
the action as us.
Us.
Now hold on. Being is manifesting the action as us. Now, how to be the manifester experientially? how to be the manifested, is it infested, right? How to be the manifester experientially. Pause. It's not an easy question, right? It's a question of freedom, actually. Where freedom exists, and does it exist? Can I do this being in mind alone?
No.
I can wish a lot. How? Can I?
It's realization that's important.
Realization of what?
Of the openness, of the oneness.
Of the open.
It's already there, but that's what the question in my mind is, what's realization? We open our awareness to that.
Great. Let's see someone on the other side of there. Yes. Who's over there? Who's over there? Hi, Kay. Hello.
Hi, practical experience.
She's pausing. Really good. She's pausing.
Yes. Well, Rudy, you know it's hard for me to be succinct. Okay. So I am right there with it. Yes. Being so present with a granddaughter who says to her sister, "Don't hog Grammy time." And being so present that the power of that love burst in my heart. There was absolutely no filters between the love and the yearning in the granddaughter and the explosion of love in my heart.
Self-manifestation arising through you. Good to hold you. Yes, Amy. Pass the mic to Amy.
Yes, I do need to pause for a second. What is arising in me right now is the little aha moment of, as I listened to you work with Jan, I got a real understanding of something. I think in some way always thought of enlightenment as like a flash and then you get it and everything is different, right? And that in some other way has enabled me to justify the dissociativeness of so much of my daily life. It's like I can be in the light and the flow and the energy and the Shakti, and then I go out into my life and I succumb to mind once more. And without going into the thought that it has to be earned, what I followed with your work with Jan was the intentionality of taking the knowledge and experience of the energy arising, the spheres of light, the transformation into light, and I could follow the refinement of the process and how that was an intentional putting forth of desire that arises from being. Right, but it's translated through the individual. It's like, yes, it arises. Yeah. So what I'm getting from this, and it's so enormously helpful. What I'm getting from this is not the sense of like, oh, if you don't do this, you're bad, or you have to earn this, or it's kind of like a pop where something in the mind puts it together and goes, oh, if it's going to happen, then I have to follow this. I will create it using the field that has been created for me and for all of us here. This, why have I been coming here all this time?
Is describing eloquently the right use of effort. Skillful effort. That action, exquisitely described.
Thank you. Thank you.
Effortless effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is a work. There is a work in all this. And if that work doesn't happen, something can still happen.
Yeah.
And there's a work. And she went through it very, very elegantly describing it. It's both following, intending, the desire, all that, moving, and yet, as he was talking, I heard nothing of the superego. Nothing of being saved from hell and all the different metaphors that walk around that configuration of the superego. Much the superego, which was one of Freud's great discoveries, or not discoveries, been around, but how this an action can arise like it did for her, not from the superego, and has enormous fruition and directness. When it goes into the superego, it's arising primarily out of fear, anxiety, but primarily out of fear. And then one has to earn everything and anything. You're earning it. But the earning is not intrinsic. She described it as an intrinsic experience, right? So it's extrinsic. It's extrinsic, and it's collecting. And Freud used to write a lot about collecting and hoarding and various sundry forms of obsessive compulsive behavior. You with me? And his challenge to religion in its broadest and narrowest sense is that it was obsessive compulsive activity. Okay? You know, this is just a floating opinion going by, okay? And this is not for everyone or anyone, but there's a kind of obsessional state of not enoughness, of earning worthiness, of earning this or that, onward and onward. And the better you are, the more obsessive compulsive you are. This is true. And if you're really good, you count them up. You just keep counting, and counting, okay? And you get a certain number, and then you can move to the next one, and you can count more. You with me? Now, you can do that if you want, but that is earlier, not early time-wise, because it's very old stuff here, but you can do that if you want. It is entirely up to you. And at least once it's been brought forward that you actually have a choice on this matter. This is just an opinion. Someone had their hand raised. Yes?
I've recently settled on the word mystic,
Mystic.
and it seems to fit here like with religion, that doing the practice comes out of desire, and so there's no there's no gain there. It's like only returning to that which I love.
Perfect, hon.
And if I love it, then I want to do it more. I want to have it more. And so there's no gaining. It's really visiting what I love, and it's like tending a garden.
Yep.
I go and I tend it because I love the garden and me in the garden. And then the church doesn't like mystics. They don't really know what to do with them because they don't have to live by the rules.
Yes. When you're talking, I'm thinking of a child being taught about gardening, okay? And I'm thinking how to introduce gardening to a child. And what frame should we use? What frame
Oh, you should fall in love with the vegetables.
with the vegetables
Yeah.
and how that will endure?
And with how they grow.
Because the other side of obsessive compulsiveness is, ready, hold on, intrinsic doubt. There's no doubt. The inside of obsessive compulsive is doubt. Obsessive compultural ritualistic experience. And not ritual that's love, but so a lot depends on how you and I are going about this. Say yes if this is making sense. We're going to pause for another minute now, just for a moment. Marley, you want to say something? I think.
I think it's mostly been said, but you may say it.
I really don't feel like I'm saying anything new. But what was coming to me was pretty much what Lorette said, which is practice, and that through the practice and performing the practice out of love, the spontaneous experience of the beingness of being emerges. That's my experience.
Well said. Pass the mic back, okay? Now,
Nancy.
for some reason, we all having a good time today?
Yeah.
For some reason, had the Shiva Sutras playing, not the Shiva Arati playing, and then I started thinking of Swami Muktananda, and I used to really listen to whatever he said. Not from an obedient point of view, but I listened because I really enjoyed what he was saying, because what he was saying was fitting with my opinion. That's true. That's, that's the way some of us are, right? And he started talking, he would say, there were different phases, and this was before it became institutionalized, and as he got older and started falling into decay, wouldn't talk much, he was having cerebral problems, and he had all sorts of illnesses, and, if you're really a good person, you never get ill, right? That's what some people think that, right? When people say that, I sort of hope they get ill. I don't know why. Fall off the table, start choking on their words. So we just love guilt. So he would talk about the very stuff we're talking about today in a spontaneous way. It was always very spontaneous, huh? And in the moment and out of our own experience. And he would talk about how this can't be institutionalized. And he would make a difference between, in his own words, lineage from one person to another, tradition, and the attempt at institutionalization of lineage and the institution of traditions. And he was very, very, very free how important connection is, lineage connection, person to person. And by lineage, he just didn't mean himself as the teacher, but what took place between people who had the arising of this energy, whatever you want to call it, okay? Doesn't belong to anybody, right? Or any tradition. But he says, when you start institutionalizing it, there's an objectification that starts to take place. And in the objectification of that experience, it becomes experientially distant, And then you start having a whole thing of reward and punishment, and which comes with institutionalizations. You start coming into a frame. Say yes if you're understanding what I'm saying here. And so he was very suspicious and would always talk about, even in the project that was at that time, the Shaivistic endeavor, was how to be there, have some degree of organization without it being institutionalized. You with me? And objectified. You with me? And so as he disappeared, it became more objectified. But I'll tell you a story today. In the realm of institutionalization in Hinduism, and Baba Nanak Namkar always thought he was not a member of any particular religion, okay? But there was a thing called the Yagat Guru. Yagat Guru was like the guru of the century, the guru. And every 10 years or 20 years, the Hindus would choose a guru, the super guru, okay? And suddenly he was chosen to be the super guru, Yagat Guru. And it was really exciting. Okay, how's he going to handle this now? He's now like the height of institutionalization, right? The Yagat Guru. And also the Mahaleshwar was coming, who's like the big mahuka of this tradition is coming, okay? And it was a really big thing. Thousands of people. He's going to become the Yagat Guru. Wow, he's made it. He's now institutionalized. We have his picture on a dollar bill or something, you know? So so here comes the Mahaleshwar, cars are coming, people are there. It's a really big deal. Well, let's see how this plays out. So here comes, it's the big moment, the crowning of him becoming now the Yagat Guru, okay, of the century or the past 10 years or something. So the Mahaleshwar comes and takes this huge crown. And he goes to place it on Baba's head, okay? And as he goes, Baba takes it from his hands. And says, oh, Baba's going to put it on his own head. And he puts it on the Mahaleshwar's head. And that was the end of the ceremony, okay? I find it pretty useful experience. I think it's a very useful experience because it stays with you like many things. Huh? Skillful action, yes. So let's focus in. We're going to focus for a few minutes and focus in. Yes, sir.
I'm going back to the word earning.
Who?
Earning.
Earning, yes, earning.
I would replace it with claiming.
Claiming. Claiming is great. Claiming is pride. There's a healthy pride, a boldness. And that boldness is really important to claim. It's like your own awareness, your own birthright, and also claiming your skill. Okay. So, for instance, Jan just demonstrated a hell of a good skill. Didn't she just demonstrate that just now? Great skill. So, when you see a skill demonstrated, the best thing to think is this. Shit. If she can do that, so can I. That is it. If she can do that, so can I. That you really want to have. So anytime anybody does anything, you think, if they can do that, so can I. That's claiming, yes. Welcome back from Florida.
From the moment you spoke and others spoke, and it came to me directly, not from top down, but from bottom up. And I'm able to I have to stop a moment.
Pause.
Yeah.
We'll do the pause.
Pause. I feel the exquisiteness of the all and the total of the room, and beyond that and beyond that and beyond that. And then the exquisiteness and blissness of that oneness connection that I had with Steve as he and I were laughing at the same time, because we were feeling that bliss and that joy at the same time. I find that as I listen and hear and absorb and it all coalesces, that there's a succinctness then at the end where I feel that you're speaking to the belief that I have about we have this innate within us, but there the desire is very important. And then I used to have a resentment about having to do the skillful means. It brought into my German streben und schaffen, schaffen.
Yes, that's right.
And I had that same experience with creating, with painting, that it used to be such a joyful and dreadful at the same time. And I've been loving the paradoxes as they come up constantly. And I realized that the beingness that arises, the awareness of the awareness, is then the same for me now as the creative process, that it arises up, and I'm aware of that arising, and there's no more fear or a sense of arduousness or streben.
I love the word. Let's say the word. We'll say it together. Sleben. Great. Let's see how our friends are on the internet, Adora. Hi, Anna. How you doing?
Hi.
What's happening?
As people are talking, and I think Lorette kind of spoke when I was sitting with this, I was wondering what is it in me that for the last, probably for as long as I can remember, since I was little, have seeked out and followed and been curious and done strange things in order to experience awareness or being, or to kind of more fully know my direct perception, because I've probably done things and participated in things that wasn't obvious from where I grew up. And I guess I recognize that love for experience itself as being the guiding force. And
That's great.
I was once sitting with, I remember Father Tiso and his very prescribed path or method of getting somewhere. So there isn't earning, but there's still a very, you have to enter something which is a prescribed way of learning in order to get somewhere. And I've always been attracted to that. Sometimes I think I should have been a nun. You know, to actually enter a real training, because I guess my Protestant background has taught me that you have to train and do the things in order to get there. So, you know, it's a mystical training where...
You know, you said something really quite amazing a few moments ago, which at least may be of use to you at this moment, where you described all the things that you've done and all these sometimes strange, peculiar things that weren't necessarily culturally friendly in your life. And all these things you've done arose because of your love of experience. Now, I'd like to...
understanding very clearly through everyone who's speaking.
And I'd like to suggest to you, I'm going to read this little phrase to you again because actually I love it also. It's amazing and really useful to know that being itself is the source and manifest the eminent flow of lived experience, your continuous lived experience. And being itself is the indivisible source of ongoing lived experience, even at this very moment. And within all experience, being is manifesting, radiating, glowing. So every experience is the openness of being, and every experience is the manifestation of being. And I think as you hold this and really understand whether you're a painter or whatever your thing is, you don't have to be institutionalized. And you don't have to enter obsessive compulsive frames. It's actually there ready, manifesting in your experience. And sometimes, the more institutional you become, the more that which you're looking for becomes further and further away. So you become a seeker, a looker, rather than an experiencer. I hope that's really useful for you today, Anna. We'll pause right now. Mary Milky, hi, welcome. You've popped on this morning. Can you turn your sound on, hon? Bottom left of the screen, she's going to turn you on.
I can try to help you. See where it says mute and unmute? There you go.
Okay, hi. Welcome, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and it's so wonderful to know I don't have to be institutionalized.
Isn't it great? That, I think you've avoided that a long time in your life, haven't you? Being institutionalized.
I'm worried that was my path.
Thank you. Glad to have you on this morning. Kathy, how are you doing? Kathy Kreshe. Huh?
I'm doing well.
How's institutionalization for you?
I'm thinking of baseball.
Oh, cool. That's last night was a big night, wasn't it, for baseball? Wait, listen. Wait, what? Say it again, Kathy. What? Huh?
I'm thinking of me in baseball, not the Cubs and the Indians so much.
Uh-huh.
But I was thinking of this notion of practice and entering into practice.
Mm-hmm. Because you love it.
You know, and I played a lot of sports growing up, but it was very non-institutional, for better or worse. But I felt like there was a freedom.
Freedom, yeah.
In pursuing it out of love. And so I remember as a kid, I would just get a tennis ball and I'd throw it against the wall and I'd practice and I'd practice. And I played a long time. I played into my 40s, and I just remember those nights, and I'd be in the outfield or something, and I'd think, I get to do this, you know. And there was just this.
That's great. I get to do this.
It has nothing to do with outcomes so much. It was just sort of being in there, and this sense of wonderment and awe at being, and I guess I had those moments, or I have those moments where I have that sense, and so I think it is a challenge with the practice, but the practice done from love is a different practice than a practice of Fagan, as Gisela talked about.
Yes. You get different results. If you're doing it from that point, you get some results, but it'll be different ones.
But it's also you're doing it out of love, and so this is what I'm thinking about institutionalization.
How's your writing coming? Out of love, not institutionalization. How's your writing?
Taking notes from you. It's all quite relevant right now.
Is it unfolding?
Yeah, it is unfolding. It absolutely is, and in many ways. And it's been a very long process, but it's unfolding with other aspects of my life.
Great, thank you. So that brings us to writing. We're going to pick that up again from last week. Who's writing now? Who's writing? How's your writing coming?
Well,
spontaneous, out of love. How's your writing coming?
Well, I say I'm writing because it's germinating at this point.
It's germinating, okay. It's like pausing. There's a pause.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and this is how the poems I've written have come also, that I'll find a piece of the teaching or a piece of the learning that I'm really interested in just kind of reflecting more deeply on, and then the universe keeps bringing me
Do you like
experiences.
knowing that it's actually coming through you?
Yes, yes. It's sort of the vehicle that, it's kind of like brain spotting, which I just it's the vehicle which touches that within me. Well, I'm going to put my poems in the volume. This isn't ready for the volume, but yeah, what I'm writing now. But yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else writing right now? Skips. Great.
So, the experiences I had over the past weekend that we talked about, I'll be writing up. And I earned my living writing for 20 years.
Wow.
And then I quit.
And you quit.
Then I helped write a book, and then I quit. So I think writing from a different place.
Are you writing for yourself?
This? Yes.
Yes. What's it like to feel this rising and coming through you, and that you're a vehicle through experience?
There's two aspects. One is a sense, if I don't embrace it, then I'll lose it.
Well said. Anybody else? Karen, are you writing? What did you write? Would you just tell us what you've written? And I think you passed it to... what you're writing.
Well, when I write, I'm not very good at saying, okay, I'm going to write from 9 to 10 or something like that. I do better when I meditate and there's a flow of consciousness and I enter that place where there is a there.
Cool.
You know, there's a lot of talk about that right now. Is there a there? But I'm finding there's a meaty substance in my experience, and it's there, and I just have to extend into it and allow the words to weave their path to create, really, with like a relationship, an intimate relationship with me and my experience.
Beautifully described. Anybody else writing right now? Carol, yes, please, lovely.
I would say very much what you're saying. I mean, it's writing out of that place of experience that allows that flow. And I so appreciate, what you keep encouraging us to do, and that is to put words to our experience that sometimes feels wordless and difficult, but it's so rich and important to do that and to search for those words.
Great paradox, as Heidegger would say, is that language is the house of being. Isn't that amazing? Language is the house of being. That some sort of way, this language is not otherness than being itself, manifesting itself, and the vibration. Now, anybody else writing here? Anybody else?
Can I read you what I just wrote?
Yes, please, yes.
Thank you. There is a difference between pain and agony. When I experience pain as an aspect of felt sensation, of consciousness, I know pain as an experience of being. When agency arises, when agony arises, it's from the pain of being an embodied soul living from my mind.
Exquisitely said. Would you continue that and write write that up as a little essay. Just a few, it doesn't have to be big. That's really, because being manifests pain. And when we think there's no pain, pass the mic, right? Thanks. Now, anybody from the other side writing over there? Anybody right? Yes, let's pass it to Nancy.
So writing, integrating, because I was just asked to give a 3-hour talk, and I've never done that before. And so I'm really trying to do it from the field. And it's a challenge to do it from the field, because it's really the integration of what you're talking about, the thinking and the being and the bringing the light in and integrating it all into a package. And
That's why writing is really useful for what we're doing.
yeah.
What are you writing about?
Healing trauma in the relational space.
Fantastic. Great. Let's see, anybody else writing over there? Mary Ann, you writing? You have a way with words. You do.
You know that.
So who thinks they've learned a lot already? Raise your hand. You think you've learned a lot. Who thinks they've learned a lot here? Who thinks that they've learned enough that they can actually speak it and write it? You can speak it. Thank you. Pass the mic back.
No, I just wanted to say one thing. Recently, I had a exquisite experience that I did write up and sent out for everyone, and I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say that it was so wonderful because right after the experience was when I wrote it, and so if I had some words that didn't fit the energy of the experience, it was just obvious they were dissonant. And so I would just, take out those words and look for the resonance. And then it just followed the resonance of the experience. And it was just easy because it was either resonating or it wasn't. And it was just this easy flow of finding just the right words. It was so wonderful.
Beautifully said. So that practice can be the bringing forth of the experience into language, into culture. Do you believe that? That when you're articulating yourself, you're bringing something into culture? You think it's a worthwhile thing to do? Let's hang here for a moment. We'll go inside for a moment. Do you like Tom's poems? Why do you like Tom's poems? What happens when you read some of his poems? What happens? Do you think it's useful for Tom to write? For you? For you, just. Do you think you have something to say and to articulate from you as you? Not as Tom. Or not as Rudy. Do you think you have something to say? Do you think you have something to say? And because saying brings forth being. Yes.
actually do know it, but I often don't think it. I don't think it is so.
Horn, stay in awareness. What's it like not to think it? What happens when you don't think it? What happens if you don't think it? It's a really useful question. What happens if you don't think it?
It creates a distance to the knowing, and you let the doubt take over.
Say it again. It's really useful. Really useful.
It creates a distance to the knowing, and it lets doubt take over.
I bet you guys $25. Many of you don't write because of doubt. And not that it's your only, whatever your form is, like you're a painter, you're a singer, so that is your form. But I think, there's another opinion, relentless opinion, that you don't write because of doubt. And paradoxically, as she's helping us, if we don't think it, then a distance arises with our very experience. And then what remains is doubt. With that happy thought, we'll end up now and see you guys next week. And if you write because it becomes institutional, you with me, some seminars, it's institutional. If we make it institutional, and you write because of institutional reasons, it'll have no good effect whatsoever. You'll become a dog. Friday, no Saturday. But we will have seminar next Wednesday. Thank you guys for being on. Hasta la vista. See you later. Day before Thanksgiving's on too, yes.
I'll be home by then. I don't want to